And we'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free.
Yes, we are here. We're a few minutes late today. We had some technical difficulties. Hey, Laura, thanks so much for joining in. Sorry for the delay. And I know we're having some network issues, but we're here. That's what matters most. Thanks so much for joining in. Welcome to the CRUSHIN COVID show. I'm your host, Nathan Amaral, where we've been spending 24 days together. It's May 24th. Can you believe it? 24 days. I'm wondering if I was even going to make it past 15. But it's definitely good to be here. Let's go. Let's start the show, yeah? Let's go. Yes. We gotta have a great intro. Love the music. I know you guys love those music too. By the way, you can find all our music. You can find all our music right over on our any app that you're using for streaming music. You can use Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Pandora. Any of the music that you like and hear on our show, you can actually get over to Fearless Millionaire Music. All you have to do is type in Fearless Millionaire in any of your streaming apps. You can also type it over on YouTube, and you will come over to our YouTube, and you can also hear some of our music there, as well as catch our, other great training videos. Actually, we just hit a landmark. I'll share that tomorrow. We just hit a milestone. I'll share that with you on the show tomorrow about some of the things we're doing over on our YouTube channel. So you can check that out. We just released the 5 great resources for real estate investors, especially when they're getting started in business. You can check that out. So what you want to do is get over to our YouTube, subscribe to be notified on when we release our videos. That's the easiest way to be notified. And today, on today's show, we have a very productive show. Speaking of productivity, we are talking about productivity hacks for your life and business, where I want to share with you a few things, a few tools that I use to help me stay more productive. And I want to share with you a formula on how what I use in my own life as a remote real estate investor, as a remote international speaker, trainer, and consultant, and what I do to keep my work-life balance in motion and moving forward. So I always hear that sometimes, even when I'm working with clients, they're like, Nathan, how do you keep everything organized and keep going and all that stuff? Well, I'm going to share a few of those tips with you here today. First, I do want to draw your attention, if you're on Facebook, the link is probably above. And if you're over on YouTube, then the link is below in the description. And you're going to see a link there, very special. I want to draw your attention to this today. I'm also going to share my screen. About less than a year ago, I started a fundraiser on GoFundMe. I'm going to share that with you right now. This is what it looks like. And what I ended up doing, I've been doing these GoFundMes for a number of years. Okay, and now you can see the link right below. You can go to bit.ly/UG-COVID. Okay, bit.ly/UG-COVID. And also, what you can see on the screen there, right there in front of me, is something I want to share with you that we have been doing. I've done numerous amount of these GoFundMes for helping people. If you guys didn't know this, about last year, I started intermittent fasting, which I absolutely love. I shared about that here on the channel just a few weeks ago. I think it's probably been about 2 weeks. And what I ended up doing was I would take the funds that I was spending, let's say, on food, right? And so if it was, $10 a day or $8 a day, whatever amount I would spend on food per day, I would save that and I put it towards this donation effort that I started called Fasting for Families. Now, excuse me. Now, you can actually check over on our YouTube, or if you've been following me for quite some time, you probably know that my efforts in Uganda, going into communities, underprivileged communities, people that need help, that may be already on government assistance or family assistance that need help to move forward. So we've done numerous outreach efforts and community efforts in this way. So if you want to help out, I know some of our followers here have already done that even last year when I did the call to action to help. Many of you have already stepped in. I just stepped in personally again today to help 11 teachers. That's what we're doing right now. We're focused on helping 11 teachers get past this COVID. And the reason why it's teachers, I want to make a real point to this, is we're really big. If you know me by now, I'm really big into education. One of my foundations is really big on helping kids stay in school in Uganda and helping them pay their tuition fees and all that. So this is going right back to the teachers so they can also sustain themselves through COVID, since they're not working at all. So if you want to help and be a part of that, that'd be great. The link is there on the bottom and you can see that scrolling. I'm also going to show you a quick video here of one of our efforts that we did last time. Again, like I said, we've done numerous efforts and outreaches in the community. So this is like the donation page. This is where you'll see like a video here and what we're doing, what we've done. You'll see people who've donated and stuff like that. But I want to show you one of the videos here. So let me see if I can make this big and share this video right here with you. And this is just a quick video of, you'll see of us, helping out and the things that we've done in that area. So I think it's playing okay with you. So there you can see what we did in this outreach is we took all the, we bought a bunch of food and essential items. We loaded them in bags and then we put them in a truck, and then we went down. We actually, our goal was to help 50 families, and these were including some of those teachers. So we load the food in the truck, and it was like food essential items that they needed, and help them, distribute these items. So you can see us there. We're compiling all the goods there and organizing our efforts. This This was no easy feat, by the way. This was actually took, about a week of planning, and then also 2 days of organization, because we had all the items. Then we brought it to the church, and then we sorted out all the items. There's my daughter. And we sorted out all the items, and then we distributed them. And then on that particular day, I mean, we got caught in the rain. The first hour, it was great, but then we got caught in the rain. And it was a really bonding experience, too, after that time, because we ended up spending and sharing moments and times. But you can already see we're already like tuckered out. And then we go into the community, knocking on doors and sharing with people who we are and what we were doing. And people were just very, very, very grateful. So if you're interested in helping out in our efforts, what you can do is see that link below that is scrolling at the bottom there. What you can do is go to that website, and it's to the GoFundMe page that we have called Fasting for Families, and you can donate and help us to that. Again, that girl you see there in the blue, her name is Mary. I call her Sister Mary, and she's actually the lead organizer, and she's the one who manages this side of the projects for me in Uganda. Again, what's really important, guys, you probably heard me say this time and time again. If you want to make big impact, or if you want to do big things in the world, or if you want to, help and grow your business on a bigger scale, there's Sister Mary right there. You can see her right there in the blue shirt. So if you want to, do more things in life, you can't do them all alone. You need team members. You need people to help you. And Sister Mary is a person that is a go-to person for me, that not only do I trust, of course, but she is a great manager and leader in that area. So it's someone I know that is accountable and can get things done. So again, just sharing that with you because I only want to share that with you because I want to see the impact that your donations would go to and how it will impact people's lives, but also to know that we do have leaders that can help out and get this stuff done. So please, bit.ly/UG-COVID. I'll leave that up there on the screen just for a little bit as we continue the day. That way, if you want to, contribute and help out in any way, that's fine. Even, whatever, $5, $10, whatever you feel, whatever's in your budget. I know these are, excuse me, I know these are tough times for a lot of people. But there's nothing as rewarding as giving. There's nothing as rewarding as giving. When you give, you will receive. Doesn't mean it's going to come right back to you from the same channel, but that whole thing, if you believe in karma, right, what goes around comes around. If you believe in that, you believe in the channel of and the opportunity of the law of reciprocity, then you will be blessed. You will be rewarded. That's just how life is. It's an amazing thing. And it's kind of interesting because over the years, when I've been doing these different outreach efforts, even on an individual level, like helping someone specifically, privately, that no one would know about, and then there's these public ones. These are more my public efforts, right? So I'm sharing these with you publicly, and I'm sharing these with you publicly. But then there's also private efforts, and the reality is that no matter how you do it, how you choose to do it, it's kind of a law that happens. It's a law of the universe, that the law of reciprocity, it's like gravity. What goes up must come down. The law of reciprocity says, when you give, you shall. You should know that right now. Yeah, receive. So that's really important. Okay, guys, I wanted to start off the show with that to let you know. I'm going to leave the link scrolling there at the bottom. Welcome to the CRUSHIN COVID show, May 24th. We have 1 week left. That's it. 1 week left of the CRUSHIN COVID show, and we're moving on. No, but that would accomplish quite a few things. One, we're bringing a presence here to our channels and to our outreach and what we're doing in our efforts. But also Fearless Millionaire. I am the creator of Fearless Millionaire, the founder and creator of the Fearless Millionaire brand, which is a place to help individuals gain more clarity, confidence, and cash flow in their life. It's a place where they are able to get a clear understanding. With the internet, years ago, I think it was a lot easier. I really do. I think it was easier back then. I think life was easier and more simple, right? Today, it's like things are a little bit more complicated. And that's why also I want to share with you some productivity hacks today to make life a little bit more easier, a little bit more, simpler. Because today there's so much more information, there's so much more out there, there's so much more available at our fingertips. And the reality is that now with the internet, don't get me wrong, it's my favorite, piece of tool work that we have, favorite tool that we have in the world. However, it can inundate you even more. And I've seen this even in my industry where people want knowledge or specific how-to advice, and there's so much out there, but yet the ease of use of getting it is a lot easier, such as you can go to YouTube, you can Google it, right? It's so much easier to get access to this information. And so what we do is we help narrow that down for our clients. We help narrow that down for our members, helping them gain that clarity, and sifting and sorting through what is right, what is wrong, what's the good way, what's the bad way, what's the long way, what's the short way. So we help narrow that down right at Fearless Millionaire. Very specific, one-on-one, and also in a group setting also. And I wanted to mention that before we jump into our productivity hacks today. That is the giveaway. Don't forget the giveaway. Guys, we have hundreds of entries. So many people are wanting to get involved in this giveaway right here. bit.ly/fearless-giveaway. If you want to be involved and have a chance to win at our remote real estate investing giveaway, it's a COVID special. We're doing group coaching, just starting up here, and then within the next 30 days, we are giving a spot for 5 lucky winners of people who can win in this training. And it's going to be a great one. The last training went well. We've been calculating, the month's not over yet, but we've been calculating how many profits, how much has been made. One of our clients just last week closed a deal and made $27,000. He's also in that training program. Another one of our clients is in that program. I want to estimate 8,000, if I recall correctly, was made in that during being in the program. And then we have another woman in our group, woman, another woman in our group who's also closing on another deal as well. It's in the process of closing. She's got a potential buyer. So all that and more. We teach you in this group how to become a remote real estate investor where you can literally invest from anywhere, no matter where you want to live. If you want to choose to live in the United States, that's fine. You want to choose to live outside of the United States like me, that's fine too. Wherever you want to live, we can show you how to build your remote investing business. All right. So check that out. The link is right there below. By the way, I just want to make one more thing here, one more tip. If you've already entered, you can go back and enter again. That increases your chances of winning because we're going to pick 5. Now, I don't pick them. I'll just tell you what, I do not pick them. We leave that up to the computers. AI picks who the winner is based on how many entries. So you can go back, and we just added 2 new ways that you can get more entries. You can like us over, I shared that yesterday. I shared it yesterday in yesterday's show. So if you want to learn more about that, go back and check it out yesterday, okay? Check out yesterday's show. We will show you how that is done. Okay, let's go. Let's do it. By the way, okay, one last thing. If you are new, thank you, Laura. Thank you. If you're new, put new in the comments below. If you're new, I'd like to welcome you to the show and also get to know who you are. And also, if you've been here before and you've checked us out and you've been following along on the CRUSHIN COVID show daily, then say hello. Say hello. And I've already said hello to a few people, so great. Thanks so much for being here. But I'd like to say hello to you also. Okay, now today we're going to talk about productivity tips on how to increase productivity in your life. So the first thing I want to let you know, guys, is if in case you didn't know, I keep it over there. But I literally have this imaginary crown of procrastination. You can call me the procrastination king if you want to. Okay, I've been dubbed that before. And the reality is that sometimes I will take something that's very important in my life that I need to get done, and I'll just like set it on the side, and it just sits there. And this was going on for many, many years. And it was like the most important things I would never get done. Or let me give you another example. Have you ever done a to-do list and you do this to-do list, right? You write it all out. And then you look at the list and you say, okay, well, what are the easiest ones? And sometimes the easiest ones are on top, right? Easiest one at the top. So you're like, oh, that was simple. Get it done. And you get all juiced up about the dopamine hit that you get when you achieve something, right? So there's actually a dopamine hit that you get when you're achieving something. And that was exactly what would happen to me. I would get all excited. I would be all thrilled that I got a bunch of stuff done, but there were little things. It was the little things. And then what I found at the end of the day or at the end of the week, I would have the big things still on the list. And it would bother me so much because I was never getting the big, most important things done. So I brought this up in a mastermind that I was in. And on my left was my once sales mentor and trainer, Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy. He was sitting on my left, and during our break, I said to him, we were just talking about. He asked me, he's like, so how you been since the training and all this stuff? And I said, oh, it's been great. I said, but one of the things that really bothers me, and I know you could probably help me, was I always knock off the little things. I never go for the big things. And he said, Nathan, that's very simple. Where's your list? And he already knows I had a list. If you're a student of Brian Tracy, you should already have your list. So I had a list on a piece of paper in one of my binders at the time. I no longer have paper lists. Everything's digital, okay? It's in my phone. It's on my computer. Everything lives digitally, which is way better than paper. So I pulled out my list and I showed him. And he's like, great. All he did was he said, this is now how you're going to do tackle your tasks, okay? He took the list and he turned it upside down. That was it, and he handed it back to me. He said, now do your list. So what that means is all the big, most important things were on the top of the list. They were on the top of the list. That means I had to start with those. And that's a strategy that's helped me become way more productive than anything else. Just focusing on the big things first. And I'll show you some tricks that you can use to get the smaller things done. And here's why this is so important. Because when you go after the biggest things and you achieve it, even though it's going to take you 1 hour, 45 minutes, and even though it takes you longer, you get such more a sense of achievement from doing that big thing than if you were to get 5 little things done. But what happens, because as humans, we want that instant gratification, right? We want the dopamine hit from the instant gratification. We're like, yes, I did that. Look how many things I did today. But the biggest one gets pushed to the side. So what you want to do is turn your list around, go for the big things first, even though it takes you longer. Then you might be thinking, but Nathan, the little things are important too. How do I get rid of those? How do I knock those out? I'm going to show you that here in just a second. And here's another thing. When my day is not going well, meaning I feel like I have not achieved anything. I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole day, gosh, it's already 6, 7 o'clock and I only have a few hours left. And what have I done today? You ever have that feeling? If you've ever had that feeling, post yes in the comments below. I'd like to know if you ever feel like you haven't achieved something. Can I get an amen? Throw yes in the comments below if you've ever felt that way. So what I would do is one strategy that I've learned, and just in the past few years, is I would look at my list and say, okay, what's the most important thing that I've got to get done that is just something I've been putting off, something I've been procrastinating on. Like if I did that thing, it would just make everything worth it, make the whole day worth it. And it's the same principle that Brian gave me. Brian gave me like flip your list. Make the big things first. Go after those big things. And that's exactly what I still follow to this day. I go for the big things first. I knock those big things out. And those little things, I like to delegate. That's the most important part. So I'm going to show you some productivity tools and tips and tricks that are going to help you. The first thing I want to tell you when it comes to being productive, okay, and helping you get things done is what I like to call the 60-20 rule. You probably heard of the 80-20 rule. If you haven't, I'll explain it. Let me know if you haven't. But if you probably heard of the 80-20 rule, which is a whole nother law in itself. But let's talk about the 60-20 rule that I follow. Now, this goes by from being remote and traveling and working remotely and all that kind of stuff, right? So one of the things that I found is that it's really difficult to spend numerous hours at a computer without movement. Even today in our like our watches. They remind us when to stand up. You've been sitting too long. You need to have movement, circulation in your body. A lot of health and research has been done about this, that many people were sitting in their office for way too long sitting. That's why standing desks are now a thing and more popular. And I love using standing desks. Even in my virtual office, there's a stand-up desk that we have to jointly share. So it's kind of interesting. I can't get a standing desk shipped here because it's like, I don't know, it's like crazy amount of taxes. It's just really weird. And then I tried to order one from a guy, but he's like, oh yeah, I'll be here in 3 months. So really interesting. So anyway, what do you call it? So stand-up desk, we have one in our virtual office that I like to use. And it's really important. So one formula that I like to use is called the 60-20 rule. It means you work for 60 minutes and you get up for 20 and whatever you need to do, walk around, go for a walk, and then come back. Okay. That's called the 60-20 rule. And it's just something I created for myself. This is not like, I could dub it. I could trademark it if I wanted to. But it's basically just a rule that I created for myself that I have to work 60 minutes. I have to get up and walk around. Normally what happens if I work beyond 60 minutes, I will just start like slumping in my chair. I'll start like I'll type differently, I'll get less productive. So one of the things I like to do is 60 minutes straight of work, working on the biggest and most important things. And then I'll take those 20 minutes to go for a walk and I'll jump on a phone call. And that phone call is typically going to last 15 to 20 minutes anyway. Sometimes they go over, but pretty much they're about that time frame. And during that time, especially for real estate, is a great time that I go through my other list of raising private money. So I'm always building and nurturing relationships, and I'm always taking the time to do that in my business. So those 20 minutes come multiple times a day. And you can switch it up, and if you wanted to, maybe you want to work an hour and a half, but I'm just telling you what I recommend because I spend hours on a computer, like a day, hours. And probably you do too. But the thing is, I found that really helps because it gets me walking, gets circulation going, gets your body movement happening. And that's really, really important for your health. It's really important for your health, cardiovascular health. So that's the first tip I want to give you. The next tip I want to give you is a software that I like to use called Zapier. Maybe you've heard of this before, maybe you haven't, but Zapier is a software tool that I love to use in my life and my business. I'm actually going to be releasing on our YouTube channel an in-depth walkthrough of how to use Zapier. I already have one in our members area. In our members area, I have a software that I like to use. I use this software, but I have a video where I do an explainer video on how to use it, how to set it up, how to organize Zapier to get things done in your life. Now, one of the things, what is Zapier? What does it do, right? It connects all your apps and automates workflows. Easy automation for busy people. Zapier moves info between your web apps automatically so you can focus on the most important work. Okay, and in a nutshell, I'm going to show you like what this does, right? They have over 2,000 apps that they can connect to. All right, so imagine that when let's say you book, actually, I should probably just click on it and show you. Let's say all the options they have for Google Calendar, okay? They have 800 guided workflows and 100 paired apps with it, okay? This is all the apps they can do with it. Here's the guided workflow. So let me give you an example. Every time you create a new Trello card from a new Google Calendar event, so it creates a new Trello. This is if you use Trello, for example. It would create a new, let me move this so I can see better. It would create a new calendar event on your calendar, okay? Then let's go to another one. I'm going to show you a bunch more. Excuse me. All right, so let's say, here's another one. This one is Google Sheets and Google Calendar. I need to get some water. It says generate Google Calendar events from new Google Sheets, right? So every time you create a new Google try saying that 5 seconds fast. A Google Calendar event from a new Google Sheet row, it will do it for you. All right. Let's load a few more. Let's load a few more and see what else you can do with Google Calendar. All right, here's another thing. Let's say you use the productivity app called Asana. create a new Asana task from a Google Calendar event. So every time when you create a new event in Google Calendar, it will automatically create a task in Asana. All right? Okay, does that make sense so far? That's basically what this app is doing. And this, by the way, guys, this is just for Google Calendar. It's showing you all the connections it can do. If I was to take you back to another integration, and if there was an app that you like to use, let's use Gmail. A lot of people use Gmail, right? Let's see the guided workflows for Gmail. Okay. All right, let's do this. Now, some of these you may say, well, why would I need that? It may not apply to you, but the good thing is there's hundreds of workflows. So let's look at a few of these. For example, where did it go? Where'd it go? Right here. All right, so let's look at this example. Send emails via Gmail when Google Sheets rows are updated. You might need that for a reason. All right, here's another one. Send emails from Gmail for new Facebook leads ads. So if you're running Facebook ads, it will send emails from Gmail. Okay, that's pretty common. If you're using Slack, I know a lot of people like to use Slack. So post new Gmail emails to Slack channel, right, for business accounts only. There's another one for Slack. There's a whole bunch here. And guys, this goes on and on and on. Like, there is a bunch of apps. There's over 2,000 apps. To get more specific, we can look at, like, let's say communication apps like call tracking or email. We can see a whole bunch of apps that will be used. Microsoft Office, Front, Never Bounce, right? And there's so many. Let's say for productivity. We talked about productivity today. Anything for calendars or task management, right? So these are all the apps. So if you have any of these apps that you see, some of these I don't know. I've heard of some of them I don't. Primarily, I like to use Google Calendar for calendars, and I also use Acuity. How about, let's look at task management. Okay, so a lot of people I know use Todoist. Google Tasks, anydo.com. That's actually any.do. I've used them before. Or Things, very popular app. Microsoft To Do. So let's say someone's using Microsoft To Do, right? Someone's using this one. There's 33 guided flows. And so let's look at this right here. Create tasks in Microsoft To Do, and then it adds the event to Google Calendar. So what does that do right there? And essentially what we're talking about here is when you do one action, it does another action for you. So imagine what that's like. I want you to just think about that for a second. You do one action and the other action's already done. Doesn't that save you time? It saves you boatloads of time, a lot of time, because basically you have your daily actions, right? You have all your workflows that you go through. But then there's all these little steps in between your day, right? And all those take maybe 2 minutes, okay? It literally just takes 2 minutes. And that's the downfall about a lot of these things. Everything just takes 2 minutes. But if you add 2 minutes every day, and that's 2 minutes, and you do it, those little things 10 times a day, that's 20 minutes. Then you do that daily. That's 20 minutes, then 20 minutes. And you get the point here, right? This ends up adding up to be a lot of time, and it's simple little tasks that you don't need to do. Zapier allows you to do it automatically. It's like it's working behind the scenes for you. It's like a little workhorse just doing all these little tasks for you. You set it and forget it. Now here's the part, the setup part, and they've come a long way to setting up Zapier. Zapier used to be a little tricky, and many people didn't use it because it was like a little too techy. But now it's become a lot easier. And when you use Zapier, you set up the app to what you want to connect it to. You create a workflow. And once it's set up, it's all set. You just let it go and you know it's going to be done. I'll give you an example. Every time I set a task in my calendar, okay? Every time I set like a specific task, that would go from my notes, not my reminders, okay? And I use it in my phone. Every time I set a reminder, it automatically hits my calendar. I don't have to go over to my calendar, right? So if you're the type of person that likes reminders all in your calendar, like me, I like to make sure everything is in flow at my calendar. It's almost like I work off my email and my calendar, and those are the two most important tools that I use. So when I set a reminder, I want to make sure it hits my calendar. Well, I don't have to go to my reminder app and then go to my calendar app to make it all happen, right? So that's a little trick right there. Some people want reminders. Some people, don't want to forget something. All those things can be done together, and those are just little steps. That's what Zapier is so great about, because it avoids those little steps, those little things that can really take up just 2 minutes, but those 2 minutes really can add up over time. And there's so much more, guys. You can even connect this to social media, Google Drive, any MailChimp, any email provider like ActiveCampaign, Facebook lead ads, if you're running online ads. There's so many more. There's over 2,000 apps that you can connect to. So guys, I know most people use these apps. As you can see, all of them here, most people are using these apps. And I highly recommend that you use this service like this to help save a bunch of your time. Also for social media marketing. Like for example, you can do, if I go to Facebook, because a lot of people use Facebook, right? So let's go to Facebook pages. Let's say you have a business page. There's 232 guided workflows. And let's say when you share your new Instagram post to your Facebook page. So let's say you do a post you have Instagram in your business and you want to post to Instagram. You can all you have to do is post to Instagram, and this thing is automatically going to go post to your Facebook page. You don't have to go into Facebook and do it. It's going to do it for you. It's going to connect each other. Let's say you're using Facebook, and where did it just go? Okay, right here, Facebook and LinkedIn. Share new Facebook pages post to LinkedIn. So let's say you're on your Facebook pages and you do a post, that post will automatically go to LinkedIn, right? And vice versa. There's so many back and forth. You choose what you want and how you want it set up. Same thing, post your new tweets to your Facebook page, send a new video, send new YouTube videos and channel to a Facebook page, and so on and so on and so on. There's so many of these guys, and it's endless. It really is endless. But the important thing is that it's going to help you save a boatload of time. So if you've never used Zapier or are interested, definitely check it out, because it's well worth it. It really is. Okay, so that is Zapier. That is one of the most important apps that softwares that I use in my business for productivity to help me gain more time. The next thing I want to show you is a little bit different. This is for finances, okay? This is for personal finance. It's a great productivity app. It's called Truebill. Truebill, what it does for you is it tracks manages your finances, right? And it helps you to manage subscriptions and lower your bills and stay on top of your financial life. What I really like about this, and I was always kind of not in tune with my subscriptions until one of my CPAs just a few years ago in North Carolina. I was in North Carolina for about a year. I was there for 3 years, left, and then went back. And while I was there, one of the CPAs did a tally. Let me share this with you. He did a tally of how much I was spending on technology and subscriptions. And he did this tally, and it came out to like thousands of dollars a month. Like, no joke. It was thousands of dollars a month. And it was all these different tools and softwares that I was trying to use for my business. But the reality was I was only using about maybe 20% of one tool and 30% from another software, and then 80% of another software. I wasn't getting the 100%. I wasn't getting the maximum out of every software that I owned. So he literally sat me down in one of our meetings. We'd have meetings every week. And we'd sat down and we went through every item line by line, like this software, that software, this one. And while I was there, I remember this day where we went through it, and he said, "What about this software?" I said, "No, I'm barely using it." He's like, "Okay, you're gonna cancel." I had to cancel. I had a sheet that I had where it said cancel or renew. Okay, so and also annual subscription. That was the other thing. The renew was to renew an annual subscription to save money, because any software these days, they allow you to do monthly billing or annual billing. And a lot of the stuff some I was paying annually, some I was paying monthly. But what my CPA advised me to do was, instead, if I'm going to use it long term, then pay annually rather than monthly, because of the savings. So I had a renew column, and I had to renew the ones that I was paying monthly to change them to annually. And then I had another column of all the ones I had to cancel. And let me tell you, the ones I had to cancel were a lot longer. So we went through every software and item line by line. And over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, it was probably like 2 weeks or less. I literally started canceling. I saved thousands of dollars, guys. Saved thousands of dollars by not only canceling subscriptions, but also renewing them to an annual basis. And the good thing about this is it really helped me narrow down exactly what I was using. And I would second guess anything else. I would really look at what I was using and I'd say, okay, a new software would pop up in the industry. Oh, this new thing, it does this, that, and this. And yeah, shiny object syndrome, right? And which is SOS. So you got to be careful for the SOS, right? So shiny object syndrome, and it was like, do I need that? Am I using? I have something like it. Am I going to use something different? That kind of thing, right? So I decided not to. It makes you think twice. That's my point. What I like about Truebill, it does almost the same thing. It reminds you about the subscriptions that you already have. So if you have like a bunch of subscriptions, well, whether it's the Netflix and Apple TV, and I'm thinking of the ones that I have, and then you have all these subscriptions to all these different things, the Wall Street Journal, whatever you got going on, right? It helps you remind you that you're paying the subscriptions. It also tells you if you're not paying annually or monthly. Love that feature. And it also helps you lower your bills. Now, I can't take advantage of the lower your bills because I've looked into it and there's nothing they'll actually help you negotiate your bills. And I just haven't used that feature yet. So they'll work on your behalf. I guess they call those companies or send them a letter or something, and they help lower your bills. I just haven't taken action on that feature. I tried one time, but they said they couldn't do it. So I don't know. You can definitely check it out. But what it does, what I like most about it, is it puts all that control into your hands. Here's the lower your bills section, right? So what they'll do is they'll collect, you connect your bill, they negotiate your bill, and then you save the money. Really, really cool thing. They'll help you save money. That's a great way. They'll negotiate things like this. And this is why they couldn't do anything for me, because they have AT&T. I think that's Verizon. They'll help you negotiate all your like cable and maybe electric bills, I guess. So those are the things they'll help you negotiate. And I don't have any of those. So that's why it didn't work for me. So, but in regards to, where is that spot? In regards to helping you track your subscriptions, it gives you a nice dashboard of what's coming up and what's happening in your life. It just gives you that reminder. Also does reporting, and also they have a savings. You can also create a budget with this app. And there's actually a feature they really don't talk about here on the main page. I really think it's awesome. It does take a little bit of time to set up, just like give yourself like an hour maybe or a few minutes every day going through it. I like to review these things weekly sometimes, depending on how behind or up to date I am. But I like to jump in these things every once in a while because it helps you categorize all the purchases. So for example, I'll give you an example. I use PayPal quite a bit for software purchases. So those software purchases are not categorized. So when inside the app, you can categorize it under, what do you call it? Under business, under personal, under if it's a reoccurring, you can label it, you can give it a name. And the good thing is with this, guys, you can actually export this at the end of the year if you need to. But this app alone has probably saved me probably over $1,000 a year so far. Seriously. Over $1,000 a year, because there were things that were being charged that I was like, oh, what's this? Right? You ever have that moment like, oh, what's that? What's this payment? What is this? What is this? Right? So those are things that sometimes we just forget. And so using this app, and it's caused me to remember some of those things that were missed out on or overlooked, and then also question the subscriptions that I do have and say, do I really need this? Am I using this at 20% or at 80%? And that's another helpful thing to do as well. Okay, lastly, what I want to show you is a little bit of magic. I want to show you a productivity tool that I use, and it's a little magical, literally. It's called Magic. Yes, it's called Magic, and it's an app that I use as a personal assistant. It's phenomenal. It really is. It's great if you are whatever you are. I think it's great. You can use it, I was going to say, for freelancers or for CEOs of a business, whatever. It's great for anything. It's an app on your phone, and it's your personal assistant. They're quick, they're responsive, and it's 100% human. You're actually talking to someone. You can get help instantly, 24 hours a day. No bots or AI. It's actually a person. And here's how it works. Um, okay, so here is college educated assistants. We built a team 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And productivity software, nothing gets dropped. Everything is within this app. You see this? Everything is within the app. And you basically, as if it's your personal assistant, you create the task, as you see, take healthcare CEOs, right? Healthcare CEOs. You tell them what to do, what you need, and you give them the resources, and they get it done for you. It's awesome. And if you guys know this by now, I've been using a lot of services like this. Especially, I have an executive assistant that has a specific task that she does every day and consistently. That's a little different. This is more of, hey, I need something done, or like they just help me. They helped me a lot when it came to finding good, cheaper flight options. Like, I don't know if you traveled quite a bit, but when I was traveling quite a bit before COVID, I would say, hey, can you find me certain flights from here to here, like connecting flights? Because sometimes I'd connect from one airport to another because there was no direct flights. When you're flying internationally, there is a lot of connecting flights. Sometimes, depends where you're going. Sometimes you can have a direct flight from, like, I'll give you an example. So sometimes I'd fly from Uganda and then I needed to get to California, but there's no direct flight, right? So I would have my assistant on Magic do all the, say, hey, can you find me the cheapest but fastest flight to from Uganda to California. So things like that, right? Great tool. So it's literally called Magic. You should check it out. I'm trying to figure out where else. Oh, here's the pricing. This is if you have them billed per hour per week. You have unlimited. They've changed their pricing over time. They have a few different programs. So this is one of them. $35 per hour, unlimited amount of tasks, dedicated team, unlimited chat, right? And it's billed weekly. So you can use your hours. Let's say you use 2 or 3 hours in a week, and then they will bill you at the end of the week. Does that make sense? So you can use it as much as you want. And they're very good with their hours. It's really cool. You even get a report and you can see what's going on. It's very realistic. It's not like someone's, shooting the breeze on your tasks, and the amazing follow-up. It's really good. Now, they also have another plan. I don't know why it's not on their website, but they have another plan. They might have changed it actually, but because sometimes what they offer you is you can pay per task, but they've changed their plans. I guess they've tested this in different ways. I've been using this app now for probably 3 years, and it's a really great app for specific projects that you're trying to do. Here's this. How long does it take? On average, for a client's first task, Magic typically spends about 1 hour, and that depends what it is. It depends on what it is. Magic is not AI. Each task is handled by a trained personal assistant. And this is great for very detailed tasks, guys, by the way. It all depends on what you're trying to do. They can even make outbound calls for you. They can take inbound calls for you if you needed to. You can have a number with their app, a specific number that goes direct to your assistant. Again, they don't really share a lot of that here. I'm not sure why, but there's a lot of other features within the app that you can have that they can work on your behalf. So for example, there was one time I was in a meeting and I told my Magic assistant to call my friend that I was running about 30 minutes late, that I was going to meet him. And because I tried calling him, then I don't know if the number was busy, I forget what it was, or I was in a conference room that I didn't have connection, something like that. And I couldn't make calls. So I was like, okay, how am I going to contact this guy? Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. That's what it was. I was jumping on stage. And when I go to speak, it's sometimes like an hour and a half. So I was jumping on stage and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to tell them where to meet and all this stuff? So I don't know why, but I used this app to make that happen, and it worked. And my friend wasn't on like Messenger, because today I often use Messenger a lot just to leave audio recordings. But I had the Magic app, and this was just like a few years ago. So that's one example. There are many other examples that they share on their website. You could check them out, and it's a little bit of magic, as you can see. It's really good too. I have to say, like, they actually offer tips and advice on specific things. Like, hey, I found, like, when I was booking them for travel, they would actually pull up multiple results. They can email it to you. Yeah, they do a whole bunch of stuff. Their website has changed, and I think their plans have changed over the years, because they've done different things over the years. They've morphed. I remember when it first came out, they had a completely different program, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. But they've changed. They've updated over the years. So you can check that out. It's magic. What's the website? Getmagic.com. Getmagic.com. So if you want a little magic in your life, you can check that out also. All right, guys, that's it. We are done today. Thanks so much for joining in for another day, another episode of Crushing COVID. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same place. Same time, same place. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And yes, see you then.
I'm a fearless millionaire.
I am 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 a fearless millionaire.